So I have had a couple different connections with Alex the last couple of weeks, and they've all been absolutely pleasurable experiences for me to learn more about him. It's my pleasure to introduce Alex Grant from New Berlin School District. Alex's pathway to success has been greatly impacted with his CTE related participation in various activities to include Career and Technical Skills Organization, also known as a CTSO affiliation. He's a pretty successful member of SkillsUSA. Alex has also taken a couple of dual enrollment courses at Wisconsin Technical College System in Waukesha. And he has really developed a love of woodworking through his navigation into SkillsUSA. And I really connect with that because I also have a love of woodworking. So that was an immediate connection for Alex and I. Alex is going to share his love of SkillsUSA and how it propelled him into excellence. And at the top right of the screen is the word excellence. New Berlin's motto encompasses excellence. It's in their email, as a matter of fact. Alex is certain he is going to college. So he is college bound, already having been accepted into Carthage in Kenosha. So let's help celebrate and learn from Alex today why CTE is crucial for high school students with disabilities to catapult themselves into a position to discover who they are. So Alex and I agreed that we would do this off of me kind of asking him some questions. So Alex, we're just going to start it off with you telling us about school before CTE.
Yeah. To be very honest, school before CTE was, it was really rough. I was in a moment of my life where, things were kind of falling apart and being rebuilt. And it was a time of workingness. And I was just transitioning into New Berlin schools. I was starting 6th grade at Poplar Creek middle school. And so I was in that later on in that year, in 6th grade year, transitioning from Waukesha school districts to New Berlin. And I was in Waukesha all my life. And, I was going through that struggleness of losing friends and making new friends and just trying to keep those bridges going. And, I didn't have the best behavior in school. I could say that I was, a little crap in school. I was bold. Didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do after school. Of course, in middle school in that area, you think that, your senior year is going to be ways away, and it catches up on you after time. And so I was just your typical ADD student who just, couldn't sit still. And it was a very rough time before CTE.
So one thing, Alex, that I can really resonate with this is my own son is a 6th grader, and I probably have said 15 different times already this year that 6th grade is a very challenging year in a young man or a young woman's life. There is a lot of transitioning happening. So coming in from another school district, that's a difficult transition in itself. And then you add in some of the not knowing a lot of people, trying to fit in. So how did CTE connect with you?
CTE kind of connected with me once I got later on, I met a teacher who was in SkillsUSA, and I was in 8th grade, end of 7th grade. She noticed that I was struggling, and so she was in classes supporting other students in classes, and so she noticed that I was struggling as well, and she knew that I was new to the district, and she reached out to me and offered me SkillsUSA, and that involvement within SkillsUSA kind of, changed everything.
Yeah, and what are some of the things that came out of that for you? What are some of the excellent things that happened to you just by nature of participating in this organization, this extracurricular activity?
Yeah, so I eventually matured. I kind of grew out of my boldness, and I pretty much just got involved, and I started doing community-based projects, and I was just out there trying to help others. And there was starting out in getting into high school. I would see students also coming from middle school and stuff, and I would give them a heads up about this. If I saw a student that was struggling, I built up that courage to go out. I'm kind of a shy person, or used to be a shy person, I should say. Now I'm not as bad. But I would go out there and I would, offer to students that I saw that were struggling, or, was just out on their own, and I would offer them to come attend some of our chapter meetings, and show them different competitions that they could do within SkillsUSA.
So it's safe to say that you're not just a participant in SkillsUSA, you're an ambassador. I mean, you're connecting other kids.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the highlights. There's got to be lots of highlights, lots of memories that you can share about SkillsUSA, and maybe how it led to some of these other opportunities that have unfolded for you related to CTE, like the dual enrollment classes and your love of technical education, carpentry, woodworking.
Yeah. So one of my greatest highlights, of course, in SkillsUSA was actually my very first year in 8th grade. I decided to do woodworking display, and so I built a birdhouse. It was an octagonal birdhouse, and it was kind of one of my bigger builds. It took me a couple months to build, and I needed to do blueprints and everything for that. And so for woodworking display, I was entered in for the $150 to $200 range. That's how they break it up. So it's an even based grading scale in a way. And I thought, this is a new experience. I was still new to the club. This was my first official year within the club, and I've never been to the state competition. It was in Madison at the Alliant Energy Center, and it was my first year. And so I was very nervous on what was going to happen. And hearing my name get called for the first place winner and having to go up on stage, it surprised me. It really did, being my first year in SkillsUSA and winning first place. And that is one memory that, will stick with me for the rest of my life. And just hearing your name and everything and having your name on the board, it's just, wow. And at that very moment, I was like looking back at everything that I've accomplished within the club. And it just really gave me, a reason to keep on going with this club. It binded me to the club. It felt like I was with the club everywhere I went. And I met so many people along the way from Wisconsin and from out of Wisconsin, because I think last year or the year before, I was offered to go to nationals in Kentucky. And that was the after state you go to nationals, and I was there for the chapter excellence program. And in Wisconsin, I believe we were the first group to ever in SkillsUSA Wisconsin. We were the first ones to be able to go to nationals for a chapter excellence program. And I was just surprised on how far I was coming, because along those ways before that, I was doing district and regional competitions, and I was working with the community, and it got me in there. It really got into my head, and it was amazing. I can't describe the experience sometimes, because it's just amazing. And I didn't know that I could do all these things, and it was just total success. I lost that boldness, as I said, and I was just there, and it was amazing. And I've never felt so welcomed into a club, or so welcomed into the New Berlin School District. And some of those friends that I met in Wisconsin and from other states, I still keep in touch with every day. I talk to some of them on the daily. They're just really good friends. And I plan to visit some of them someday when COVID goes down. I have some friends up from Green Bay that I wanted to get together with, but COVID came. So we're waiting for COVID to lay low in a way so that we can come and visit, and hopefully SkillsUSA comes back to competitions in person.
I have heard you. We've rehearsed this script, and even though we've rehearsed it, Alex, every time you talk about this, I just kind of get goosebumps, because just a small things related to CTE, like just getting students to take the chance to participate in a CTSO. It doesn't need to be a big, home run like a youth apprenticeship. Either one is going to be a great option, because you just never know how it's going to propel somebody into excellence. And this is what gave you the catapult for your love of woodworking and your joy that you seek in technical education courses. And talk about how you discovered your love of science.
Yeah. So just before we talk about that, yeah, I totally love woodworking. I just got out of construction too, just a half hour ago. And right now we're not doing woodworking right now. We're actually learning about steel studs and masonry right now. And to get to science, yeah, that gave me a passion for science, because they have a competition, medical terminology, that I didn't know. I just thought that this was just tech ed, doing carpentry and masonry and welding and all of that. But they have a competition actually called medical terminology. And last year I took medical terminology through WCTC. And because COVID came, we had to cancel all the competitions. But I found a passion for science throughout taking rigorous courses. So in 8th grade, when I, found SkillsUSA, and I could say that teacher and also Miss Brazelton got me in shape real fast. And so I got back into those rigorous courses, and I started out with taking honors English 8, and from there I've taken it every year except for 11th grade, because that's when you take AP, but I didn't take AP at that time. But I also found a passion in science. So biology, freshman year, I found a real passion for that class. And so I decided to get into biomedical sciences and take that freshman year. And so I did that biology course, and I found, hey, I really like science and stuff. And SkillsUSA had that medical terminology class. And so I really wanted to get into that, but COVID came, so that kind of downed things down. But hopefully that's one of the competitions that will be going this year, as we, as SkillsUSA, as they're planning on hosting some competitions this year virtually.
Alex, you mentioned something about rigorous courses. I think that really teaches us a lot. It's important that all students have courses that are rigorous, and we provide them with specialized services and supports to access those rigorous courses. And that's helped you. Having high rigor has really helped you propel yourself into position for an excellent outcome. When you graduate, your colleges are after you now. You've got teachers that have done a great job of, setting you up for success, but you have set yourself up. And I will tell you, Alex, you're still bold. You're just bold in a very professional way. I'm impressed with you. I have one last thing I want to ask you, and then we have to, we probably could stay here all day and talk to you, but unfortunately we do have some other things we have to do. But what advice would you offer to our audience of school district staff and outside agencies who are invested in helping kids discover their true passions and interests as they maneuver through the difficulties of high school, especially kids with different abilities.
Yeah.
I say that instead of saying kids with disabilities, I say kids with just different abilities. What advice would you offer?
The biggest thing would be compromise. Always, some students may not be able to perform everything that, other students can, and that's what makes us all different in unique ways. And so the biggest thing for me, as I would say, is compromise. For me, it was behavioral problems and some learning problems. And so by compromising, you can find students who may be struggling, and you can always offer extracurricular activities that are found within your school. For the first one you may offer may not be the right one, but it's always a trial and error, and you just have to keep on going at it, and any extracurricular activity that you see fit for a student who may be struggling, just offer it. See if they'll be interested, and if they are, that might be that one club that changes their whole life. That could change everything for that student, and that's what SkillsUSA did for me. If I didn't find SkillsUSA or had that advisor come up to me, I don't know where I would be right now, to be honest. And quite frankly, I thinking about it is kind of scary, because I really don't know. I don't know what I could see myself doing if I hadn't found SkillsUSA. And so just that compromise is really, really the key thing that I feel we need to do. And if we can compromise, I feel like we could find a club for everyone, or even an extracurricular activity that just gets students together. That is what our goal is. And that could change everything for a student, as it did for me.
Alex, you're saying all the right things here. You're doing a wonderful job of sharing your story, and I hope this resonates with our participants in the community of practice. I know it's definitely made me very aware. So I appreciate that. We value your time, and we can't thank you enough for being with us today. And I don't know if it's appropriate, when you're at a conference, you give somebody a round of applause. I don't know if we can do that on Zoom, but if everybody could just come off mute and just clap for Alex. I think we can do that. And Alex, thank you. I appreciate that. That definitely you added value to our work. So
yeah, I'm glad. I'm thankful for you offering, and for Miss Brazelton as well for offering this for me. I really, I think it's cool sharing my story, especially if it can help someone else.
Absolutely. So thanks, Alex, and you have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll be in touch about more opportunities, because we're not going to be just having this be a one-time opportunity. I think we're going to have you do some more things for being an advocate for people with diverse needs. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, for having me.
You're welcome. Take care, Alex.
All right, bye everyone. Thank you for having me.
All right, Lisa.